with another haircut, and in this video, my videographer decided to bring over a chest strap for the GoPro. So, we filmed a lot of this haircut using the camera that was mounted on my chest. And in this haircut, we did a fade with an asymmetrical top. Now, I'm personally liking the asymmetrical top because of a couple reasons. One, it's not very common. You know, most men typically have a square shape on the top of their head versus an asymmetrical shape. Two, at least in my opinion, an asymmetrical top gives the haircut a little bit of character. It's a little unique. As we mentioned before, not a lot of guys typically have an asymmetrical top. So, I'm really digging the asymmetrical top. I hope you guys like this haircut. If you have any questions, don't forget to put them in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos coming your way. On that note, let's get over to the haircut. All right, so the very first thing I want to do, since we are going for a bald fade anyway, whenever I do clients that have, let's say, longer hair like my model here who haven't had a haircut in quite some time, and we're going to do a bald fade on the sides and the back, I'm going to just basically take my clippers and remove all of the hair where it's going to be bald anyway. So the first thing I'm going to basically do is, before I even actually start the technical part of the haircut, is just remove the hair where it's going to be bald anyway. So on both the sides and the back, I'm going to take my clippers from the occipital bone down on the back, and then as far as the sides, it's just wherever you want that bald fade to start. I'm just going to remove the hair using my clippers. After I do this, I will put a guard onto my clippers to remove a lot of the hair that's above this line that I'm creating right now. But as you can see, I'm basically just taking all the hair off on the sides where I want the bald fade to start, and the back from the occipital bone down. Personally, I should say, I like my bald fades in the back to start at the occipital bone. So basically all of the hair under the occipital bone will be completely bald, and then above that is where I typically like to start my fade. Alright, so now that I have removed all of the hair on the sides and back where it's going to be bald anyway, I'm going to now basically use the shortest guard I have to put on my clippers. And again, this is not really being technical, just because my client's hair, or in this particular case, my model's hair is a little bit on the longer side, I'm really still just removing bulk. So by taking the shortest clipper that I have, I'm now just working my way up and kind of scooping out, because I want to keep the shape square, so I don't want to necessarily follow the head shape. I do want to scoop out. I'm really just removing a bunch of the bulk at this time. Again, these first two steps that I'm doing, or I should say I have done, there's nothing technical about them. It's literally just whacking the hair off so that we can actually get to the actual fade part of the technicalities of the haircut. Alright, so now that I have finished removing a lot of the bulk, a lot of the hair, just using the clippers, I'm now doing the exact same thing, but through my fingers, because we are getting a little bit higher on the haircut, a little bit higher on the head where the hair is going to get longer. At this point, I'm basically still just removing a bunch of the weight through my fingers on the sides where the sides meet the top. But having said that, again, I'm not really doing anything as far as the technicality of the haircut. I'm really just still removing a bunch of the bulk so that we can actually get to the technical part of the haircut and actually get to the fade. Again, if your client has their hair pretty short, they're regularly coming in, and the fade is, just a week or two old, you're probably not going to have to do any of this. You can just dive right into the fade. But with my model having much longer hair, I just wanted to get rid of a ton of the weight by just removing a ton of the bulk before we dive into the actual fade. Alright, so now that I took a few minutes to basically just get rid of all of that weight, all of the hair, I'm now officially actually starting the haircut. This is where the technicality of the haircut comes into play. This is where I'm going to actually now start using the trimmers to take down the hair as short as possible and create the bald fade from this line, working our way up to the top, at which point, as I mentioned before, we're going to be busting out the asymmetrical top. And so this is actually where the haircut begins. Alright, so now that I've taken the sides and back, below the occipital bone in the back, as short as I possibly can with the trimmers, I'm now going back to my clippers, and this is where I'm actually going to start fading out that first line. As you can see, the little lever on my clippers is pushed all the way forward, creating the shortest cut that those clippers can create, which of course we need to be at the shortest point to be able to blend out that line. Alright, so now that I've blended out that line, I want to blend the sides into the top. So there are several ways you could do this. You could use clipper overcomb, you can add a longer guard, or my personal favorite is scissor overcomb. So I'm going to be utilizing scissor overcomb. Alright, so now it's time to cut the top, and as we discussed before, I'm going to cut the top asymmetric. As you'll notice, it's longer at my fingertips, but starts to get shorter at my knuckles, leaving the top an asymmetric shape versus a square shape. As I mentioned before, I kind of like the asymmetric, I should say not kind of, I'm really liking the asymmetric shape right now because it's unique. Most men typically get a square shape, so it is, in my personal opinion, cool because it is unique. But two, it also gives the head shape, I should say the haircut shape, some character in that it's not just your typical square shape. Alright, so now what I'm doing is basically just texturizing the top of his hair to give him some versatility when he goes to style his hair. He can wear his hair with texture and just put some pomade into it, or he can just comb his hair through and wear it with no texture, but by texturizing the top, it gives him that versatility when he goes to style it with pomade. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just taking the scissors, running it through the top of his head, ever so slightly closing the blade, but not all the way, cutting a lot of short pieces in the long pieces, which then creates a bunch of texture on the top. Alright, basically I'm just creating more texture by twisting the hair and then taking the scissors ever so slightly, closing the blade, but not all the way, cutting a bunch of small pieces throughout the top to give it texture. Alright, so basically what we did today is we wanted to take the sides down nice and tight, so we faded it through here with the trimmers, then took the clippers and basically faded out the outline, leaving the top with a little bit of length, but I did basically an asymmetric shape up here where it's a little longer on this side, shorter on this side, and then we just texturized the top so that he can style it in different ways if he wants to, giving him that versatility to style it however he wants. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed this haircut. If you have any questions or comments, don't forget to put them down in the comment section below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more great haircuts coming your way.